Good morning, Colton. How are you?
The activity that we're preparing to do, the shape sorting activity, this activity was designed for us to pre-assess where students are in terms of their geometric learning. And we're going to use this information to help determine our path as we're presenting lessons, but also if we need to provide some remediation for some students and to help develop those skills that are needed to be successful in geometry this year.
We were not aware of the way our students were thinking because the standard curriculum, as it comes out of a textbook, does not address where the students are when they come in. It's that classic teaching of, okay, open your book and we're going to do this, does not allow for enough student input to direct the instruction, whereas, and we only learned this last year, that it's very important to get that fundamental understanding of where the students are, and we were actually given a tool to do that. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but it's something I'm very interested in seeing. What we're going to do is we're going to have you come up here, because I like getting you out of your seats. You're going to pick up 3 things. You're going to get a shiny piece of paper, a little envelope, and either a roll of tape or a glue stick. And what you're going to do is you're going to open up your envelope, and you're going to find some shapes in your envelope. Okay? And we're going to have you sort those shapes. Listen to what I mean, like a game, it's just a little game. It's a little game that's going to let me understand how you think better. That's really important to me right now. And here's what I mean by sorting. You're going to open it up, you're going to see shapes. The shapes have letters on them, ignore the letters. But I want you to see if you can group these in piles of things that have something in common mathematically. Okay? And then I want you to write on the paper what that group means to you. It's a strange thing, and no one's asked you to do this before, so let me give you an example. If I was going to sort you guys, I could sort you a whole bunch of different ways. I could make a pile of girls and a pile of boys, and I could label it my girl pile and my boy pile, right? I could make a pile of freshmen and a pile of sophomores and label it freshmen and sophomores, right? So you're going to take the shapes and you're going to put them in groups according to something that you see that they have in common. So come on up here, get a shiny paper, an envelope, and something to glue or tape with. No, that's stickers. Isn't that weird? I don't have white, I have everything else. Mr. Sturgeon might have some. Yeah, one envelope and then one of those shiny papers and something to glue or tape with.
A lot of our kids in geometry have been through a good portion of this course through their middle school years, but they get here and it's as if they did not see any of this information before. And I think that most likely it was the way that the information was presented in a teacher-centered mode where the teacher stood at the board and gave out information. Using activities like these, we can encourage the students to draw from the files that they already have, which is much easier when you have a large group of people working on a similar activity. And then by allowing them to access what they already know and add to what they know through things that they have discovered through the lesson, I think that they're much more likely to remember things learned through an experience as opposed to things that were just told to them. You know, one of the pieces of this graduate program that we're in is an emphasis not only on mathematics, but also on the pedagogy behind the methods that we use to teach. And we are being introduced to some, I don't want to say different pedagogies, because I think that all of us have been taught about student-centered learning sometime in our education. But we are given the opportunity to design new lessons and try them out with our students and report back to the group how those lessons worked. And so when we go back to the group and we say, hey, I did this with my kids and they were really successful as a result, then I think that encourages other teachers to try some things that are maybe a little bit out of their comfort zone as well. And the other thing is that, yeah, of course, we want to look good as teachers. We want our SOL scores to be high, but this is really all about helping kids learn how to think on their own. The student who did this sort is a 9th grade student in geometry, and she grouped her triangles in 2 ways. She grouped one set of triangles as tall and skinny and grouped the other set of triangles as short and fat. The results from this student were more like what we were thinking, although the sort isn't exactly perfect, but he grouped all of his right triangles together in the top row. He has labeled his second row of triangles as obtuse triangles, and then he has labeled the bottom row as acute triangles. I would say this student at least has a pretty good grasp of some different angle categories. He has misgrouped at least one triangle here where he has incorrectly labeled this obtuse triangle as acute. But for the most part, he's done a pretty good job in sorting those. So this student really does have a pretty good grasp of the geometry skills that we want him to have coming into this class, perhaps a Van Healy level of a high 1 or a low 2. Okay, and so we know what we need to do then to move this student to the next level.